G'day adventurers, I'm Darren from Adventure Primal. Our aim is to help improve your fishing, boating and four driving adventures. In this video I'm going to show you how to prepare for what I think is the best holiday destination in southeast Queensland, Moreton Island. The best way to do Moreton Island is in your own four drive.
At the time of this video, there's only one way to get your four-wheel drive there, and that's via the MyCat barge. And because this is the only way to get there, you need to book well in advance to be certain of a spot on the day. Generally, the barge does a morning run and an afternoon run. I'll provide a link to the MyCat website in the description below. Directions on how to book are available on the website. Another item you want to do in advance is book your accommodation. Your choices range from camping to eco tents that are located next to castaways in Bulwer, or you can go upmarket to Tangalooma Resort. Personally, when I go to Moreton, I'll stay at the Redcliffe City Amateur Anglers accommodation, as it's very good and a great price, but there are other huts and houses for you to choose.
Okay, so you've booked your accommodation and your barge ticket. It's now time to get the four-wheel drive ready. I recommend packing the following safety equipment in with your usual holiday gear. And the first item I think has to be the first aid kit. You'll never know what will happen on the island, and remember that sometimes you'll be a long way from anyone, so it may be up to you to do some first aid.
Now, it'll be a good idea for you to take some jumper cables in case your battery goes flat. You'll also need to take some digging equipment. If you've got max tracks, take those, but if you don't, definitely a shovel. And last of all, you'll need your snatch strap. I recommend putting in the shackle before you take off and have it ready just in case in those times when you get stuck. Calling for help on your phone could be difficult. The only mobile phone tower is located just above Tangalooma Resort. So as you can see from this map, the coverage around the island is not that great. I'll also take some spare jerry cans of fuel if I'm going there for a long time. But if you don't, you can purchase fuel at Castaway store in Bulwer. But remember, it will be a little bit higher than your normal fuel pricing.
Do you like your fishing too, like I do? Then take your fishing equipment as well. I'll let you decide what you're going to take.
There are rules for driving around Moreton Island. I'll provide some links to these below. Make sure you have a good read before you go. The island is a national park, therefore you'll need a beach permit to drive around. I'll provide a link to that website in the description below. It's also where you get your camping permit. Whilst on the barge, I like to get my tyres ready for beach driving by deflating them to around 18 pounds of pressure. I do this with these handy screw-on devices, which I've preset to 18. All I've got to do is screw them on and let them deflate themselves. Handy, eh? Oh, and if it hasn't rained in some time over there, it's likely that the sand will be very soft and chewed up from other four-wheel drives. If so, then you'll need to go down even further to 12 pounds. Once done, you're ready to head up to the cafe, then sit back, relax, and enjoy the views of Moreton Bay. When the barge lands, remember to put your vehicle into four-wheel drive, disengage traction control, and drive down the ramp and onto the beach slowly, but with some momentum. When driving along the beaches on Moreton Island, it's important to take the tide into account. The best time to travel is around low tide, and at this time, all of Moreton is accessible. But as it approaches high, some places become cut off, so be careful where you go. This area is generally underwater, for example, at high tide. And here's a good map of Moreton showing you all the spots of interest on the island. The barge is going to land at this position here shown by the star. if it's high tide, you can make your way to Tangalooma pretty easily, or if you want to go to the eastern beach, you can cross via this middle road. If you're trying to get to Cowan or up to Bulwa here, there are tracks available above the high tide line most of the way. The only place that may cause some trouble is a point along the beach near Bulwa. This will depend on beach erosion, but if you can get past that, then you'll be able to get to all the northern point locations up here. The eastern beach generally gets cut off during high, but this all depends on the sand erosion. You'll have to determine that when you get there and see how the high looks. Assume it's not drivable if you haven't observed it. The western beach is not drivable during the higher parts of the tide. Down here at Coringal, gets cut off during high, as the only ways out of there are the eastern or the western beach, down these roads here. If you're on Moreton after a period of heavy rain, you may experience that many creek runnings off the beach. Creek crossings should be done cautiously and slowly. Check the water depth and the softness before crossing it, and don't stop in the middle of the crossing. The inland tracks can also end up with their fair share of water to navigate through. Proceed slowly through these and be careful of fallen tree limbs hidden in the water. Unfortunately, at some stage you're going to have to leave. When back on board for your return trip, the barge has its own air pumps, so you'll be able to pump your tyres back up to your recommended road pressures. And don't forget to put your car back into two-wheel drive before leaving.
When you return from Moreton, don't be surprised to find your car in a bit of a mess. There's sand everywhere.
The back can get particularly messy, especially if you've done a spot of overnight fishing, like I've done here. And you'll need to give the car a good wash, especially underbody. You can do it manually like I'm doing here, or you can go to a car wash that has proper underbody washing facilities to make things a little bit easier on your return. Don't forget to do the engine bay. There will be some sand and salt in there too. If your engine is still hot when you're washing this, then you'll need to turn your engine on to lessen the likeliness of causing damage from the cold water on the hot engine parts. Try to keep away from the main engine and exhaust when doing this anyway. It's just the size that you're mostly after.
Okay, so I think that'll give you a good idea of what you need when going to Moreton Island. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below and I'll try and answer them the best I can. Remember, let me know if you like these videos by hitting the like button, or better still, hit the subscribe button, and watch our other videos for tips on boating, fishing and four-wheel driving. Until next time, adventurers.